Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming down to the end of our time together. We only have about 2 weeks left. So we really want to make sure that this week we are doing any assignments that we may have missed, anything that you need to go back and resubmit or submit for the first time that you may not have done. That is how you're going to be graded. So make sure you're completing any assignments in Google Classroom that have been assigned. If you have been completing the work packets, make sure you're getting those dropped off to the school somehow. I know there are different drop-off days. There also will count for credit towards your grade, if especially if you haven't been able to complete the assignments online. So this week we're going to focus on the mood of the chapter. I want you to think about what kind of gives you that feeling, the words maybe specifically that the author's using in this chapter, or just the overall feeling that you're getting from the text. In the last chapter, we found Connor unresponsive, and we then learned that he had died basically in his sleep, from what we gathered. So this picks up after that. So we're going to start with chapter 7. It says, "It's hot outside, bright and hot. In movie funerals, the weather always matches the mournful mood of the characters, but there are no clouds, no rain today. The only dampness is from tears and sweat. The church parking lot is boiling over with cars. Trucks and compact cars and piece of crap cars driven by teenagers like the main road and side streets. People all dressed in the appropriate drab colors filter in through the double doors, past a life-sized crucifix hanging on the wall. The church hall is actually the Catholic school's cafeteria. Once all the sack lunches and fish sticks are devoured, the tables fold up against the walls and the basketball goals come down. It's table time now, and the goals are tucked high against the faded blue ceiling. I could go for a little basketball right now. I could go for jumping up and crashing down and plowing through sweaty bodies and running. Running until I collapse with exhaustion. Running until I drop. I didn't go to the funeral. I couldn't. And I don't think people could have handled seeing me there. A person can't be dead and alive at the same time. There can't be one of you reposing in a coffin while another one is sitting in a pew singing or praying or existing. It's weird because I always thought about how different Connor and I looked. It wasn't until last year that I had a growth spurt and caught up to his 6'2" stature. My muscles and my tan have never caught up. But I see him now when I look in the mirror. I see the same sandy blonde hair, the same nose, same chin. I see the same eyes and how mad they are that we lost our chance. We had one, a chance to be brothers again, like we were when we were little. We felt it. Hell, we lived it the night before he died, and it was so simple. We played a video game. Connor reached out his hand, and for the first time since I'd missed that basket, I took it. We played together, and we saw it, the years ahead of us. The trips I'd take to see him in college, the beer he might let me drink as long as I promised not to tell Mom and Dad. I would have been best man at his wedding and uncle to his kids, and even if it took years to finally be the brothers we were supposed to be, we'd gotten there, but now it's too late. We missed so much in the past, and now the future's been taken away. From both of us. And I see the pain and anger in his eyes when the mirror looks back at me. I take a deep breath, standing in the doorway into the cafeteria. Mom and Dad understood that I couldn't go to the funeral or the cemetery, but Dad suggested I come to the dinner. I walk in and there they are, huddled against the back wall. My dad shielding Mom from the onslaught of condolences that threatens to bury them. Suddenly, the hum of conversation stops. 100 eyes are staring at me, and almost every pair is asking the same question. Why couldn't it have been him instead of Connor? I start to back up, wanting to get away from the stares and the whispers, and suddenly a hand takes mine and pulls me hard, back into the entranceway and then out into the sunlight. Emma yanks me past the 2-story brick building that serves as the elementary school, and once we reach the playground, she drops my hand as abruptly as she's taken it. Her blue eyes squint against the white, glaring sun as her hands search out something new to hang on to. Her hand falls on the ladder of a tall metal slide and she grabs it like she's about to collapse. She doesn't look like she's even breathing. She's pale, her skin ghostly against the black dress she's wearing. I see her start to fall and I rush forward, catching her in my arms and lowering us onto the grass. My back rests against the hot metal slide as she sobs. The metal is burning me through Dad's thin dress shirt, the bottom rung of the ladder branding my lower back. And I think about that, about the heat and the pressure and the pain as I stroke Emma's hair. She cries for a long time, long enough for me to watch the shadows of trees moving slowly against the grass, long enough for Cammy to come looking for Emma and see me holding and soothing her. She smiles sadly and sweetly at me before she returns to the dinner. I expect to see gratitude on Cammie's face because she knows I'm comforting her best friend. But her face, colored only by the slight sunburn she'd gotten at the track meet, is full of concern. And somehow I know it's for me, because no one is holding me. Finally, Emma stops crying, and I don't know if it's because she's temporarily out of tears or because it's just too tired to give to any more. I hold her a while longer, and the trembling of her body becomes less and less until she's still. She looks up at me, and I know she's realizing. She's realizing that the arms that are holding her are made of the exact same DNA as the arms that she's missing. It's strange, she says. You're him. Your eyes, your mouth. She combs her fingers through my hair, making my spine tingle. That's better, she says. She looks at my lips, and her fingers gently touch them. You're him, but you're not. Her eyes shine with tears, and it kills me inside. I'd do anything, anything to lift the pain from her eyes. Not just because she's Emma, but because she's Connor's Emma. She needs him. They were supposed to be together. For a second, I see myself running to the cemetery, pounding against the casket and telling God that I'll take Connor's place. We won't even have to switch bodies. My soul can just go wherever, and Connor's can jump into his body, and then Emma can be happy again. They could both be happy. I miss him so much, she says. I swear her blue eyes aren't just glistening with tears, they're turning into tear-filled orbs. I wish, my voice falters, I wish. Emma knows what I'm trying to say and what I'm feeling, and I mean it too. I really do, but what I really want is for her to shake her head and tell me not to wish for that, and not to wish that I could take Connor's place. But she doesn't. She just stares at me and wonders, like everyone else, why I'm alive and Connor isn't. So I want us to think about the mood of that chapter. Think about how we feel, the somberness of the chapter. There's really no excitement. There's no catchy dialogue. It's very somber and sad. And the author makes it that way because we have to imagine that we are in the place of the characters. So we are there at the funeral mourning the death of Connor, Kyle's brother. And so he gives us this feeling of sadness. And he uses some language that gives us that more sad feeling. He talks about a trembling body while she's crying. It tells us that she runs out of tears. It talks about dad shielding mom from people coming in, and you can kind of get that visual of somebody sort of keeping people away from his mom, from all of these people trying to come up to her and say how sorry they are. So we get those visions and we can feel that sad mood based on the author's words and based on what they write. So we want to think about that going forward. How is the mood affecting our feeling? How are we feeling based on the words in the chapter? So when we meet on Wednesday, we're going to think about that same idea with chapter 8. Again, please make sure you are completing any assignments that are on Google Classroom. They are how we're going to be able to give you a grade. So make sure that you're getting everything done that has been assigned. And I will see you on Wednesday.